What's up guys, this is Lex and this is my YouTube channel Retro Theory. This is going to be my first video on here and I kind of just wanted to make it about the games that I've been playing in 2024 and the games that I finished and some of my thoughts on them. This year I really wanted to finish more games and kind of avoid leaving them behind. I'm the type of gamer that gets easily distracted. I think it has a lot to do with choice paralysis. There are just so many great games that are coming out very frequently now. And this year I just really tried to focus, and I've been able to finish a lot of the games that I've either started and never finished, or finally gotten around to games that I've never played that have always been sort of on my radar. The first game that I want to mention, because it might be the most important, is Elden Ring. So I played Elden Ring when it first came out and I really enjoyed it, but I dropped it. I never finished it. I got distracted by something else. So this year I really wanted to get back to it, and mostly because I saw that the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC was launching earlier this summer. So around February, maybe March of this year, I started a fresh save and I decided to take a real attempt at finishing it, which I did, and I'm very happy that I did actually, because finishing Elden Ring just opened up From Software's catalog to me. I tried playing Bloodborne in 2015 and I never really clicked with it. I tried playing Dark Souls 1 before then in 2012 and I didn't really understand at the time why people enjoyed these games that were so challenging. I really wanted to like them, but it just never clicked for me. So finally taking the time to play Elden Ring and finishing it just made it kind of flipped a switch in my head saying, hey, maybe there's something else here and I should try again. And before I move on from Elden Ring, I just want to say that it's probably one of my favorite games that has come out in the last 5 or 10 years. The art direction is just stunning. I just can't believe how good this game looks sometimes. It's just really great, and I love the freedom of choice that it gives you when it comes to playstyles. The combat is extremely fun, and I found myself really wanting to try a lot of the different weapons and builds that are available to you, and I'm definitely at some point going to play this game again, using some of the weapons that I didn't get to use the first time. But From Software, I think, did something very special here, and I was really glad to finally play and finish Elden Ring. Speaking to what I said before about this sort of opening up From Software's catalog to me, after I finished Elden Ring earlier this year, I decided to take another attempt at Bloodborne. This is a game that I see constant praise for, and now I know it's for a good reason. It seems like every time there's a Game Award show or a press conference, people are just waiting to hear from Sony saying that they're finally going to do a remaster for Bloodborne or a remake. But I took another attempt at it and I actually completed it this time, and I am just very confused as to why I didn't like this the first time. This game is just so good, and the weapons are very fun to use, and the game rewards you for being aggressive, which from my understanding is not like the other Dark Souls games. I haven't gone into those yet, but I will. I just love the visual aesthetic of Bloodborne, that Gothic Victorian-esque era sort of architecture and theme. I really love it, and it's definitely been one of my favorite experiences of the year as well. Not only did I finish Bloodborne, and not only did I finish Elden Ring, but I did go ahead and try the Demon Souls remake that came out at the launch of the PS5. And the Demon Souls remake I actually found to be more difficult than Bloodborne or Elden Ring, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I feel like a lot of people feel the same way, and it might not be that it's more difficult. I think it's just that the systems that were used were very primitive, and that's understandable since it was From Software's first foray into this subgenre of games. But what Bluepoint did here was very, very good. The Demon Souls remake on PS5 is, I think, one of the best looking games for the console, and I see now where Elden Ring comes from, where Bloodborne comes from, where all these games come from now. I had never played this game before. I had never even tried it, so it was really interesting to go back and see this. Even though it did give me a hard time, I still had fun with it, and I do think it's the weakest of the three that I've played this year. But still, just an incredible time. Very good combat. The enemy design in this game is really good. I really like those Cthulhu-esque creatures in one of the prison levels. I think those things were really rad. But Demon Souls overall, I thought great game, and it was great to finally see it for myself and experience it. But those were the three Soulsborne type games that I finally got to play this year, and I'm really glad that I did. Before we move on to any other games on this list, I do have to mention From Software one more time, because I played Armored Core 6, and I had never played an Armored Core game before. I actually didn't even know that From Software was responsible for this franchise. But at the beginning of the year, this happened actually before I went back to Elden Ring. And this happened in maybe January of 2024. I was looking for something different to play, something new, something that I had never tried before. And Armored Core 6 was kind of just calling to me when I laid out those criteria, and I just absolutely love this game. I don't know why I've never played another game like this before, but now I'm thinking that I should go back and play the other ones, because this game where you control this mech and you can customize it and swap out all the parts and use different weapons on each arm and on your shoulders and just fly around, and I don't know, I was just having so much fun with this game, and it was the first game that I beat this year. I just had so much fun, and the atmosphere is very dark and very, very different from what I'm used to playing. So Armored Core 6, highly recommend. It's not a long game. I finished it in about 18 hours or so. It was challenging at first just to try to get used to everything, but I can see why people are in love with this franchise, and I really want to see what else it has to offer. I don't know if the previous games are as good as this one, but I hope they are, because I really want to go back and play some more. So Armored Core 6, very, very great find for me this year. This next game that I'm going to talk about is actually Slay the Spire, and I've been hearing about this game for a while now, but I've just never really sat down to play it and give it a chance. But I'm really glad that I did, because I'm a real big fan of trading card games. I play Magic the Gathering, and this is a deck building game that sort of has some of the same mechanics that Magic the Gathering has. It's not completely the same, but the idea is there. And this game is so addicting and so easy to just pick up and play, and it's available everywhere, and I just enjoyed it so much. And shortly after I started it, I completed my first run. I still have to finish a run on 2 other characters, but I think Slay the Spire is just perfect. It's perfect at what it does. The visuals are great. The items that you pick up are really cool and give you some cool effects. The deck building aspect is really addicting as well. You can spend a lot of time, deciding which cards are beneficial to you in this specific run, or which ones you should leave behind. Slay the Spire is just an incredible game, and I can't believe it took me this long to play it. Moving on to 2 JRPGs that I've played and finished this year, and the first one is Dragon Quest 1. I had never played a Dragon Quest game before. I don't know how, but I finally did, and I decided to go all the way back and start with Dragon Quest 1, and I gotta say that I really liked it. I hadn't played an 8-bit game in quite a while, but I really enjoy them. So I really wanted to do that with this one, and I went back to Dragon Quest 1. I finished it in about 10 hours or so, and just a great way to see how far JRPGs have come, because this is kind of like where it all started. So it was nice to see, or to finally get some experience with the Dragon Quest franchise. And I thought the music was really nice, and the combat was addicting. It was cool to see all like the old sprite work and stuff like that. The game is basic, and the story is not like anything to write home about. But when I said that I wanted to play a Dragon Quest game this year, I thought that the best way to start off would be to go all the way back. So I did, and I'm really looking forward to playing Dragon Quest 11 because I've heard really great things about it recently, and I've heard a lot of great things about other Dragon Quest games too, so those are definitely going to be games that I check out later in the future. The other JRPG-ish game, which is could be also considered just an action RPG, is Ys Origin. Another game that I had never played before. I have played other Ys games before. On the Vita, I played one that I believe was called Ys Memories of Celceta. But Ys Origin I had never played. And I was looking for something short, something that I could play on my Switch at the time. This was maybe in March or April of this year. And this is a really fun game. I was really in the mood for something to grind. I like that there's 2 storylines that you can play, so you could replay it twice, even a third time, I believe. The story, again, not much to write home about, but this game kind of came at the right time for me. And actually for Ys Origin, the thing that stood out to me the most was actually the boss battles. The boss battles were really good, and I was pleasantly surprised. This was a game that I think came at the right time for me, and it was short, and I really loved it. The next game that I want to talk about, and one that I finished only 2 weeks ago, was Mass Effect 1, which I had already played before and I had already finished before, but lately I've been wanting to go back to the Mass Effect series and play those first 3 games again. So I went back and I downloaded the Legendary Edition, Legendary Collection on PC Game Pass, and I played the first game, and it's still just as great as I remember it. Mass Effect is such a special series, and I can't wait to play the next 2. And finally, guys, the last game that I've finished in 2024 was The Last of Us Part 2. I was a huge fan of the first game. I was really in awe of what Naughty Dog was able to do with The Last of Us Part 1. I don't think I had ever experienced a story like that in gaming before, an ending like that in gaming before. The stealth combat was great, and I just really fell in love with The Last of Us Part 1. And I was really put off by the negativity surrounding The Last of Us Part 2 at the time when it was coming out. So I feel like that is why I never got around to playing it. But this year, I felt like it was time, and I felt like I was really in the mood for it. So I decided to go ahead and buy the remastered edition for PS5, and I gotta say that I really liked it. I really liked The Last of Us Part 2. I can see where some of the criticism comes from, because playing the game as, you know, Ellie, and spoiler alert for the next 2 or 3 minutes here, but playing the game as Ellie and getting to that point in the game where you suddenly switch over to the other character and have to play up to the same point again, I was kind of confused by that decision, because it just seems to me like it interrupted the flow of the storytelling. I didn't really mind that we had to play as that character, but I felt like the story could have been told in another way. I'm not really sure what that is. but the combat was still top tier. The story itself is still a great story, and I can't wait to see what they do with it next. But I can see where some of the criticism for this game comes from, and I do understand and sort of agree that the structure of the game could have been different, and that could have served the game a little bit better. But still, a great game, really enjoyed it, and really happy that I played it. But yeah guys, those are the games that I've finished in 2024, and there's a lot of games on this list that I had never really had the chance to play before. Games that I didn't really know too much about, and that's kind of what I want to keep doing, especially here on this channel. I want to go back into the back catalog of games that I've been wanting to get to and sort of make videos about them, make videos about my experiences, and maybe in more detail, maybe making videos on specific games as I finish them. But I'm really excited to start making content on here about something that I really enjoy, something that I love. So that's pretty much it for today as an introductory video, and I want to thank you all for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks everyone.